Heat number 2 underway. We do have one heat remaining for women's individual event number 7. It is going to start with a 50 cal row. Now, that's a considered amount of time to sit on a rower, and I think a challenging way to pace when you think you move from that row to the wall ball shots.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough, I feel like, a little combination of moving from one kind of like leg pull to a leg push with a heavier ball.
Yeah, I think that's the one part of this workout that I think is very deceiving. Like, there's going to be a lot of adrenaline, and you're going to want to go out and get those 50 cals done fast. That's going to make your workout suck if you go out too fast. You have a lot left. But that's the one thing that at least when I did this in training, I went out at a sustainable pace, like not hard, but not easy either. Like you make time up on when it's calories row, but you have to feel good going with those wall balls and get those 40 in a big set with not too many breaks, and then it's just box overs, lunges, and you have to be, those row climbs are also a very important part. You can win or lose time on those.
It's really amazing how whenever they throw a row into an event, it's always that, okay, I can choose to literally go 7 seconds faster, and that will smash me for the rest of the event. Or I could just reel it back just a little bit, and then you feel so much better going into something like to the wall balls. I mean, the wall balls is going to jack your heart rate up anyway. I mean, it's a heavier wall ball. Granted, it's to the 9-foot mark, but it is a heavier wall ball. So you can see already that some of these girls are starting to just be relaxed here. We'll just kind of bring it down just a little bit, get into the event, and then start to let the heart rate go up after that when you get to the wall balls.
We'll probably see some of the stronger rowers come off around the 3-minute mark, is what I'm guessing.
Well, right there, Mikaela Norman just in the red. I think that's someone, I mean, we know her capacity when it comes to any sort of an endurance type event. So I think I'd expect to see her coming off the rower in one of the first positions. Now, what she does with some of the other movements, I'm not really sure. But off the row especially, I think she's going to try to push that.
Do you think you have your bigger, stronger athletes on something, like a monostructural row? Like, same thing you see with kind of the bikes and the skiers is like the bigger athletes have a little bit easier time of navigating this, I would say, at a more conservative pace. Bill, like I said, I think hand in the air, it looks like it will be Mikaela Norman. Now, I'd be curious to see is that it's a good one for her, and I mean, that looks like it's going to be a fast row, something south of 3 minutes, and right off the row, just ahead of her, will be in lane number 9, Laura Clifton. And then up to her left is Marnie Sykes. So we move from a 50 cal row.
I'm excited to see if they hold this. Yeah.
And we move in those 40 wall ball shots with a 20-pound ball to a 9-foot target.
So we have all these reps. Would you look to do smaller sets on a short rest, or would you try to go a big set, being that it's only 40? I mean, would you try to go, all right, I'm going to bury the 40. I'm going to take all of them.
So when I did this in training, I asked to do this to a 10-foot target. And in my head, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a 20-pound ball, it's a 10-foot target. And I think I got in my own head a little bit about it. And I think I broke the first one up into 3 sets, but the second one unbroken. And then in training, Ben had me do some rowing and some wall balls with like 30, 20, 10, and then up and even do some 30-pound wall balls. So I was training with heaviers to get some more confidence on that. So I don't think it's bad to break that up into 2 or 3 sets on the first one, as long as they're super short.
Right.
But I was trying to gain confidence so I wasn't scared of them. So you should be. Some of these girls will definitely go 40 unbroken.
Coming up after these wall ball shots will be 30 box jump overs. Now, be curious to see how that first box jump over goes after the 50 cal row, but just on cue, it looks like it was near 40 unbroken as Clifton and Sykes side by side. Now, these 30 box jump overs, I haven't seen the wood box in a while, so the freedom of fear isn't exactly clear because we're used to the old foam box where, a little shinning there is not going to hurt you.
I'm actually surprised to see them. We saw them in the first heat too. Everyone stays kind of low on the box, which for me at least, it's harder for me to flush the legs, especially with coming off the row and the wall balls.
Mikaela Norman has moved herself back in the top 3. She was actually one of the slower ones off the row, but did very well on the wall ball shots. One thing I like from Mikaela's technique is she gets pretty close to the far edge and gets that leg off fairly quick to step off the side of the box, where some others are getting jammed up in the middle of the box.
Well, then one of the things that we already talked about how much of a quad dominant element the first 2 movements were.
Yeah.
You could kind of take that element out by making it be a calf element by rebounding on the top if you had that ability. Now, I'm a masters athlete, so you would never see masters do stuff like that. We'll blow our Achilles out. But you could have these athletes standing up and just that quick rebound and ending up on the top. You know, it's only 30. It's going to be fast if you have that rebound.
That's definitely what I would do. That's the first one is always the hardest one, and then it's basically just if you stay tight, you're gonna. It's not as it's harder on the cardio, but it's definitely a lot easier on the legs.
And Mikaela Norman has actually moved up in about a 3-way tie between Sykes, Norman, and Clifton as he moved from 30 box jump overs to a 20-meter front rack lunge. 60 kilos on the bar. These are those shorter competition bars, so it's not the 65 that we might think this is.
Man, legs, and more legs, and then some more legs. How about that?
20 meters down. They'll make the turnaround at the 10-meter mark, so they'll go back for their full 20. And Mikaela Norman, maybe that conservative start kind of played more into her game plan is row at an easy pace for the thing that I'm good at and just kind of save myself for the later part of this event.
Well, I think definitely her strength is her aerobic capacity, so there's no sense to try to empty the tank in the beginning. But you can see she's already starting to pull ahead just by having that consistency in her ability, in that cardio ability.
Norman in the middle part of the competition floor gets passed by Sykes there at the end as Clifton to the left side of your screen is finishing up her last step across 10 meters. As Sykes, Norman, and Clifton will move to the last part of this chipper, and it's the 10 rope climbs. Now after this, they're cutting everything in half down the middle. Sykes on the left in all black. Norman in the blue and orange next to her. In the gray and orange is Clifton. So you have 3 ladies all within 1 rep of each other.
I actually feel like this is the point of the workout where you can win and lose the most time. Just like if you look at them, some of them are going to back away from the rope in between, and that's a couple seconds here and there. Getting step at the top, the speed on the way down, that's a big part too, because it takes time to come down also. So I think this is where if she is a little bit fresher, she will be able to move faster through these.
Well, and 10 is that's a healthy number of rope climbs. I mean, there's a lot of time to be spent right here. So I agree that there's a lot of transitional time that you can save where you're really not even using a lot of energy. When you come down, I mean, if you go to speed rope it down, that saving time allows you just to kind of keep that heart rate down so you can rest at the bottom rather than being held and trying to anchor your foot on the rope and lower yourself down and just wasting energy that way.
Being efficient, like you say, with each pull and each foot clamp.
Yeah.
And to both of your point is watch Mikaela Norman is that it seems like she has a very slow tempo and high grab, but she's the only one doing these climbs in 2 pulls, where Sykes and Clifton on the other sides are doing it in 3. So saving yourself for that 1 makes those little differences as you're talking about when you're thinking about 10 rope climbs.
I think she does a great job of not stepping away from the rope. She comes down, she fixes the rope, and she jumps right back up.
Another thing that I really like that she's doing is every time she goes to reset her feet, her arms are dead straight up and down. She's not holding. There's no bend in her arm at all, so she's not blowing out that grip and blowing out that bicep. Wow, that was fast.
And Mikaela Norman will advance ahead of the 2 women she was tied with between Sykes and Clifton. The cutoff time in the previous heat from the halfway point was 10 minutes and 40 seconds. So she is currently 1 minute and 40 seconds ahead of the pace set in heat number 1. Now we saw her have a bit more of a conservative row pace in the first round, but catching like you were talking to, once you get to the second round, regardless of how you feel, everything's in half, so you're gonna have to push that pace.
Only 25 calories. It's gonna be just maybe like 1 minute and 20. It's not gonna be much more than that at this point. And then she's only got 20 wall balls. She can do those pretty easy. 15 boxers so fast after this.
Mikaela Norman alone on the rower, and you know, it looked like she was moving so slow on the rope climbs, but really it was wasting zero time. 2 pulls to get the touch, and Katrin, as you said, never stepping away from the rope between movements.
Wow, she made up so much time on that rope climb. My goodness, she's going to be off the rower before anyone else gets there.
We're waiting to see who the second place athlete is going to be. We know Sykes and Clifton got there before everyone else, and it looks like Sykes will come off the rope second as Mikaela Norman is getting off the rower.
Take some of them.
And we know she had a great first round of wall ball shots that put her back into contention with these top 3. Seems to be running away with it right now. Norman back on the rig, 20 wall ball shots, 20-pound ball to a 9-foot target. Marnie Sykes, the only athlete on the rower.
Catherine, how often do you work with the heavier wall ball? How much do you put that into your training?
I do it a fair bit. And then actually, like at Rogue, I had this thing in my head where I thought it was just a capacity thing, like running or rowing, like wall balls was just a capacity thing, and then I get to Rogue, and I wasn't as good as wall balls as I thought I was. And it was like, Ben was looking at my wall balls, and my arms are flared out, and they're not very efficient. So we actually went back down to a 14-pound a lot. I'm doing a lot of wall balls these days, but they haven't been heavy. But he does that a fair bit sometimes. We'll put him in so that when you finally pick up that 14-pound again, it's like, all right, this is an easy day.
Well, it's been interesting. We talked to Rich yesterday about with the team stuff when they were doing the wall balls. Same thing, and it was interesting when I asked him how much of the 30-pounder are you using. He's like, well, I use a 20 also because you can go fast with the 20. The 30 is about let's smash your legs. He's like, I feel it in my shoulders when I do the 20. I feel it in my legs when I do the 30. So it's interesting to get that different response on whatever it is.
And it sounds sexier to put a 30-pound in, but it's the same as with like weights. People want to put more weight on you. Like, look, you're kind of giving yourself a break there, you know?
I have to rest because I'm tired.
You gotta rest. The bar weighs so much. If you take, it doesn't look as good, but like, you get to work so much harder, and you can go so much faster when it's lighter.
Well, you know, it's hard to post work capacity on a 15-second Instagram story.
I mean, come on. That's what it's all about.
Mikaela Norman is absolutely destroying this entire field.
She has executed this very nicely. I think this workout should look like this.
Just that controlled effort, yet it looks slow, yet the pacing within the entirety of the climb is so fast. Sykes, you can see she's on her second round. Her and Pinheiro on the left, so Pinheiro over in lane number 3 has moved up into third as Sykes moves to the box. One more rope climb for Mikaela Norman as she has 90 seconds before we reach that 15-minute cap. I'll say one thing we've seen all weekend is these caps aren't messing around. and in a little bit of a sense, they're pushing the tempo and pace of a lot of these events. As Mikaela Norman, you have to do, and that is her last set. I mean, Mikaela Norman.
Okay, we've said this earlier. We know how Samantha Briggs works.
Yeah.
She's almost identical to that, but a younger version kind of coming in. So everything that Samantha is good at, Mikaela is good at. Not quite as good yet, but I'm starting to see her move into that position. I see Samantha Briggs doing this event just like that, looking exactly like that. I mean, that second back half that she just did, wow.
Yeah, very impressive.
That second set.
She didn't fall apart. She held a good pace. She upped her pace of everything. Yeah, that was a very well executed workout. That's fun to do workouts like that. When you come across and you're like, damn, I did that right. Yeah,
I was say, like,
that was
meanwhile,
awesome.
back in normal athlete land, Marnie Sykes is finishing her 10-meter walking lunge.
Let's see if she gets this rope climb. That's what Mikaela got in the heat before.
Sykes trying to sneak in that one rope
Yep.
climb. We saw I Gilfadaughter do the same thing. So a tie for second place in terms of reps completed with one rope climb. But Mikaela Norman was in a league of her own.
Wow.
During this entire event. And it was so funny is that we thought she would do well off the row, and like, oh, maybe not. And then she started the rest of the event, and I go, and there she is.